He was a seasoned veteran by 19, a member of Montrose at 27, a stadium headliner at 33. For Sammy Hagar, the Red Rocker, life has never been fast enough.
I'd write songs on the road, I'd come home, go straight into the studio, finish the record, go straight back out on tour.
Though by 1985, after 10-plus years of touring, the speed had finally caught up with Sammy. He'd all but burned himself out.
Every album for my last 5 albums had sold 1 million records, and I just felt like I'm kind of coming to an end here, you know, like what do you do now?
What do? You get a phone call from one of America's most accomplished guitar players. His band just happens to be in need of a new singer. The band's name? Van Halen. Give me the best. Wow. With Sammy on board, the band's first new album, 5150, soared straight to #1. It's a pattern that would repeat itself with each studio offering.
Here's the greatest American rock and roll band ever, Alex, Michael, Sammy, Eddie, Van Halen.
Fast forward 1995. 5 albums and 10 years later, the tension had begun to take its toll. The Perfect Marriage had become a bitter battle for custody of the band's musical direction.
I started becoming a jerk. I'll be the first guy to admit it. I'd say, well, too bad. This is the song, you know. I rewrote it 3 times now. I think it's great. I'm the one that has to stand up and sing these lyrics. And I started becoming a little more belligerent about it because it was becoming kind of like frictional, and I wasn't used to it, and I didn't dig it.
After supporting their album, Balance, Sammy planned to take 4 months off to prepare for the birth of his child. Though just 2 weeks later, Eddie wanted his singer back in the studio to record tracks for the Twister soundtrack.
And it really became an issue. I said, you expect me to leave my wife over here, you know, 8 months pregnant, and come over there and record a couple songs for the movie Twister? Yeah, well, so I said, I won't do it. And then next thing I know, Eddie's calling me, if you ain't here tomorrow, I'll assume you quit the band.
In the end, Sammy made the trek from Maui. But when Eddie decided one of the songs would be used for a greatest hits album, an idea Sammy vehemently opposed, that's when the poop really began to fly.
Next thing I know, they got David Lee Roth back to do the great 2 songs for the greatest hits record.
Then, with a final phone call, Eddie called it quits on one of rock and roll's greatest comebacks.
It was like Sunday morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, the phone rings. Hey man, we gotta talk, we gotta talk, we gotta talk. I'm going, what are we gonna talk about, you know? And because I refused to come down, we hadn't been talking, I admit, you know. Well, I'm so frustrated with you, we got Roth back to do some things. It's been going great, so you go back to be a solo artist, quote unquote. And we had a big yelling match, and said, well, if I ever see you, I'm gonna kick your ass, and I hung the phone up. And then that was the end of it.
So where is he now?
I've been the happiest guy in the world since then.
Hey, man, Peter Pan, don't say no. I know you can, right?
Happy about his daughter Kema and his wildly successful music club, Cabo Wabo Cantina in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. Which leads to this year's pet project, introducing Sammy Hagar's authentic, homegrown Mexican tequila.
I had it in my club for 5 years, and we'd sell 2,000 cases a year, you know, and that's all these people could make. So we bought them a bottling plant, and we kind of upscaled their plant a little bit, and over the years, and now I brought it to America this year, and it's doing phenomenal. But like I said, it's not like my business, you know. It's just, I dig it. Cheers.
If he's happy with his tequila, then Sammy's ecstatic with his 1999 release, Red Voodoo.
This record, I didn't allow any influence except for my personal love of what kind of music I like to sing, play, and write. And so it's real kind of self-indulgent, but I've always been self-indulgent.